Terry Goodkind's Wizard's third rule reads, "Passion rules reason, for better or worse." Welcome to McBain Moments. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the manor. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Passion rules reason, for better or worse. And if you watched my last McBain moment, you're probably wondering why I skipped the Wizard's second rule. It's because I just tried doing two versions of it and I hated both of them. So we're going to move on to the third. I might review the second later. So, passion rules reason. This is a fundamental aspect of the human condition. We are by our very nature an emotional species. But when you cut through all of the emotion, when you cut through the passion, the drive, the anger, the happiness and elation, you have to cut through it all and look at the underlying facets, the architecture that builds the situation. Because no matter what's going on, there's going to be reasons behind it. And usually there is a logical progression for what you are looking at. You can't always see it. And there will be situations where there is not a logical progression, or that logical progression is based upon emotion itself. And this is not an easy thing to deal with. This is something that we as human beings have been struggling with probably for 1.5 million years. But it does mean that we need to be able to take a situation, try to cut past the initial emotional reaction and look at the underlying logic behind why we're reacting this way and what can we do to actually resolve the situation. And so what you need to do is you take a look at, okay, I've got this situation. This situation makes me frustrated or angry. Why does it make me angry? It makes me angry because in the past something similar to this happened and it didn't work out. And the fallout from it was so terrible that it broke everything to pieces. And you say, okay, what part of the situation in the past happened that caused it to fall to pieces? Is there a way to prevent that from happening so that when this new situation that's similar comes up, we don't have it happen again? Excuse me. And you go, okay, this, and this were what caused that to fall apart. Are those four pieces, do they all have to happen for it to fall apart, or do only one of them have to happen for it to fall apart? Okay, if all four have to happen to fall apart, then all we need to do is prevent one of them from coming up. What can I do to prevent any one of them, or just one of them, from cropping up? What can I do? What advice can I give? What can be done to prevent that situation from repeating itself? Was it because of timing? Was it because of the people involved? Was it because we did not have the resources? Was it because the location was bad? What were the factors that caused the previous situation to fall apart, and how is this current situation that's so similar different? Does that mean the outcome will logically be the same, or will it change enough so that the outcome will be different? And different doesn't always mean better. It could fall apart for completely different reasons, but at least at that point you have discovered that, oh, hey, this is a different situation. I need to let this play out, because just because it didn't work out in the past doesn't mean it won't work out this time. Now, this doesn't mean you need to ignore logical problems with the situation and say, you know what, this isn't going to work. This is how, frankly, this is how a lot of human relationships happen. But what you need to look at is, okay, understanding that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. The idea is doing something the same thing over and over and over means you're not making incremental change to see if you can't troubleshoot the problem that causes the result to come up the way it does. This is the whole basis of the scientific method. And so what ends up happening is time over time, as we repeat a process, we become more frustrated, or we become angry, or become invested in it emotionally. And what that creates is that passion will eventually overrule the logic and reason and incremental progression that you're trying to make on the situation. And if you're not willing to step back and say, whoa, I am no longer objective about this, I'm being very subjective, what caused this to happen, then you're going to run into roadblocks. It's not an easy thing to overcome. And it probably never will be. This is a fundamental aspect of the human condition, like I said. I would be surprised in humanity's 3.5 million year existence as a genus, not just as a species, but as a genus, we have run into this throughout the entire history. Although our ability to logically reason our way through problems has progressed over the ages, especially in the last 2,000 to 3,000 years, it is not without some consequence that we have faced problems that have been cataclysmic throughout that time period. And so I would encourage you, when something comes up and you have that snap reaction, look at yourself and say, wait a second, I just had a snap reaction. What was the cause of that reaction? Okay, why did it happen? The cause of the reaction. How do I overcome this? Or, what is the logical way to take care of this? Passion rules reason for better or worse, but it doesn't mean you need to let it rule you all the time. This has been a McBain moment.